Welcome to This is Douglas County. I'm your host, Rick Martin. Sheriff Tim Pounds and the Douglas County Sheriff's Office are dedicated to serving and protecting our community. Recently, there's been a significant increase in the number of missing persons, especially among the elderly and children. The Sheriff's Office has decided to expand its canine unit. In this studio, I'm joined with some of the canine unit's newest additions, Bloodhound Canine Copper and Deputy Aaron Smith. Thank you for joining me. Deputy Aaron Smith, an honor to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
And it's obvious to our viewers, you're not the only one with this.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to introduce Copper with this. Tell us a little bit about Copper.
All right, so this is Canine Copper. He is a full-blooded bloodhound, and he was born on July 30th of last year. He comes to us from a local breeder, was donated to the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Tim Pounds wanted someone who was able to track missing children and also dementia patients, because we've been having a lot of that lately, unfortunately. So Sheriff Pounds has took the initiative and wanted to get us a bloodhound to help locate these missing children and dementia patients.
And that's critical to pretty much search and rescue, the responsibilities of you and Canine Copper.
Yes, sir. That's going to be our main responsibility, is search and rescue, because we know that these elderly, if they get out in the woods and things like that, the time is of the essence. And if we're not able to find them, then it could be a difference between life and death.
So in addition to that, I think it's really important probably that when people have someone missing and they don't know, that they immediately dial 911.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. They'll contact us, and I will be on call 24/7. So I live here in Douglas County, so I'll be able to respond pretty quickly.
And Deputy Aaron Smith, something special about you as well is you're multi-talented, because you're just not the newest handler for Canine Copper. You're also a school resource officer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. So I'm a school resource officer. I've worked in Douglas County schools for 9 years now. Worked 1 at Fairplay, 4 at Lithia Springs High School, and then this is actually my 5th year at Alexandra High School.
Okay, awesome. So in terms of dealing with the public and the community, you're no stranger at that, are you?
No, sir. No, sir. Yeah, so I enjoy working with the community, because this is where I grew up as well.
So you are from Douglas County?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. And I know that's inspiring to others in terms of a profession once they graduate from school or college, yes, wherever they go. You would recommend joining?
Oh, absolutely.
And applying?
Absolutely. I think this has been a great career choice for me. The good thing about the Sheriff's Office is there's plenty of things to do at the Sheriff's Office. You can work in the jail, you can work patrol, you can work K-9 like I'm doing now. I mean, there's unlimited things that you can do there, so it's a great career choice.
Tell me a little bit. Let's talk about the training with Canine Copper being the newest member just over a year. He's probably has some training to do. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. So what we do with Copper is the K-9 unit trains once a week all together. And so we will join that here in the next upcoming weeks. We haven't had time to do that yet, because it's very important for me and Copper to bond together before we start going into training and things like that. So we will do that here in the next couple weeks. And start training with our unit. So we will train with them and also other units that train in search and rescue.
Canine Copper was in the news recently, because of,
absolutely,
really what he was brought on to do.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that.
All right, so Captain Horn actually received Canine Copper when he was born. And so he was given to Captain Horn, I believe it was at 14 weeks. And so he was able to work him and train him and things like that. And Captain Horn is also one of our canine handlers from the past, has been doing this a long time, has wealth of experience with it. So he's got Copper up to where he is now, which is in a good spot. And so Captain Horn was able to go out and locate a missing child. I think it was a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So that was really good.
Is he the first bloodhound to the Sheriff's Office?
No, sir. We used to have a bloodhound unit under Sheriff Waldrop.
What makes a bloodhound a good choice for a canine?
All right, so a bloodhound, they're unique. I worked also on the canine unit before, and I had a Belgian Malinois. And he was a dual-purpose patrol dog, and he was able to detect drugs and to track people. But unlike my previous canine partner, Canine Copper is able to track much better. The ways that their slobber and thing that we saw earlier from the bloodhounds, that actually allows them to gain a better scent. Once he's tracking, his nose stays on the ground when he's on a track and a trail, and he'll just stay going. And you'll notice also that all the skin that he has is real loose. And what's funny is when he tracks, the skin up here on his head comes down, and it's kind of over his eyes. And they say that that causes blinders for the bloodhounds, so it kind of keeps them kind of like a horse. You keep your horse steering straight. It's kind of the same way with him, but I haven't done any tracks with him yet. Took him camping with my family when I first got him the first weekend out in Alabama, and we hit a lot of rocky trails, and he sounds like a vacuum cleaner just hitting that trail. I mean, it's just nonstop. Just the sound that he makes is very unique, but I think he's going to be a great asset to the sheriff's office.
Wow, just getting acclimated. How long do you think it'll take before?
I think we pretty much have bonded pretty well and things like that, but probably about another week. I think that we'll start trying to do a little bit of other things. Right now, we've just been working on obedience and just trying to have fun, just have a good time together.
Gotcha. I tell you, you know, I'm sure 9 years ago when, you know, you became a school resource officer and joined the sheriff's office, you had no idea your life would be like this.
Oh, no,
right
sir.
now.
No, sir.
I mean, tell me a little bit about that.
All right, so this was never my real plan to be a deputy and things like that. I graduated from Lithia, and my senior year was when September 11th happened. So we all know that that kind of changed the course of a lot of people. So I ended up joining the Army at that point and moved away from Douglas County for 3 years and served and things like that. And when I came back, I was looking at jobs and what I could do. And then it was Major Mo Harper. He was a friend of the family. We knew him. And so I talked with him. I was actually out cutting trees with my dad one day, and phone rang, and he told me to come up there and interview. Okay. And I haven't regretted it since. I mean, it's been a good career.
Wow.
Challenging and things like that, but it's great to be able to come back to Douglas County.
Awesome. I mean, this is home, so
yes,
I can only imagine. You know, what has the feedback been when you returned from the U.S. Army and, you know, where you are now, when you come in touch with people, you know, you went to high school with their stuff? What's the feedback been?
Yes, sir. It's been pretty good. They, you know, they're real appreciative, as a lot of Americans are, you know, with our service and things like that. So, I mean, that was a great thing to hear, coming back and stuff like that. But just working with the sheriff's office, I still run into a lot of people I went to school with. And, you know, so it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like being able to help out the community as much as possible.
You know, and that's something people don't realize. You know, part of my responsibility is community relations in addition to communications. And it's important to have the public engaged with government and what we do and the sheriff's office in a positive way. You know, little do people know that they can invite you and Canine Copper out for a visit. Isn't that true?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. So we do many events as a scope unit. And that's what Copper is a part of, is the scope unit.
And tell me, for those who aren't familiar with the scope of the acronym, can you share that, please?
Yes, sir. It's Sheriff's Community Outreach Programs and Education.
Perfect. Perfect. You know, and tell us a little bit about they can.
Okay. So this scope unit is a unit that Sheriff Pounds, once he took office, this is something that part of his vision. This is what he wanted. As far as for the sheriff's office, he wanted to be out in the communities a lot more. He wanted to have these events like handing out ice creams. I'm sure you've seen the ice cream truck and things like that.
Yeah, the Polar Patrol.
Yeah, the Polar Patrol.
Man, that's gotten so much media attention.
Oh, it has. It has. It's worked out great. You know, the kids really enjoy it. I've got to work the ice cream truck a few times, and they really enjoy it. You know, so it's a positive thing. So the sheriff wanted to do something like that, and you know, so that's why the scope division is really growing under the guidance of Captain Horn right now.
Oh, man, that's great. That's great. And then people can, you know, contact the scope unit and, you know, ask for you and
absolutely.
Canine Copper out there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we can absolutely come out. All you have to do is just contact Captain Horn with the sheriff's office, and he'll be able to set that up, let you know kind of what needs to happen from there.
Awesome.
So,
oh, that's great. So tell me a little bit about, you know, the Bloodhound responds a little different than, say, the German Shepherd. You know, how do they get along?
All right, so I hadn't had him around any German Shepherds yet.
Okay.
I do have a yellow lab at home, and it's funny, they you know, at first they kind of look at each other and things like that and couldn't, you know, figure each other out, but they've gotten to where they're pretty much best buds now. They're inseparable. at home. So
Really?
yeah, so they do a good job. He's not very dog aggressive
Okay.
at all. So I mean, I think he gets along with other canines very well.
Have you had a chance to have him around children?
Absolutely. So I have 2 children myself. I have a 12-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy,
Okay.
and they've actually fell in love with him. So my 12-year-old girl, I actually let her walk Copper. So she'll walk him around like the campground and everything, and take him out to take a break and things like that. I don't let my son, just because he's not really big enough, because Copper, once he gets going, he can take off.
So he's pretty much gets along real well with children.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He does a really good job with children. And, you know, that's kind of what we want to do with him, is familiarize him with children and crowds and things like that, because we do want him to be, you know, with the public and allow the public to see kind of what we have, what resources we have here in Douglas County.
Gotcha. Have we had a chance to, I guess, you know, collaborate with any other sheriff's office or law enforcement other than Douglas County?
About Canine Copper?
Yeah.
No, are you talking about like if we get called out?
Correct.
Would we go help?
Correct. Like
okay.
mutual aid or help or something.
Okay, when I was on the Canine unit before, I went out to the old Shannon Mall and helped. They had a burglary out there. Okay. So I would still think that if another sheriff's office needs us, I believe that we would still go help in that manner. So I believe we could be called on that as well.
So what about other emergency calls, I guess, with the fire department, if there's something with the fire department that...
Like if something with the fire department, maybe a fire, and you know maybe a small kid ran out of the house very quickly, and parents aren't able to find them, then absolutely they could give us a call, and you know me and my partner could get out there and try our best to locate that missing child. Gotcha. So that's one way that could happen.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Awesome. That's
yes, sir.
Great to hear. Wow. What do you think, or would you want the public to know that they may not know about bloodhounds?
All right. So bloodhounds are exceptional tracking canines. You know, this is what they're bred for, this is what they're made for, and things like that. And with the training that he will be getting and things like that, I believe that he will do a very good job. So that's my goal. My goal is that, you know, anytime we get out there and track, that we always find the person that we're looking for. And he can go for hours. So that's the good thing about him. I know I was doing some reading before, and they said that the world record, I think it was all the way across the state of Kansas, I think it was, is that the dog tracked, the
Really?
Bloodhound. Yeah, so I mean, that could go forever.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Has Canine Copper surprised you in any which way, shape, or form?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it was a big difference from the Belgian Malinois that I had. You know, I was kind of expecting the same thing. But when I got Copper, you know, at first he was a little afraid to come to me and things like that. But we broke out of that, and I think going on that camping trip that first weekend really helped him out. But yeah, it surprised me just how how big he is, for one. And then we went on those tracks, or not tracks, but on those hikes up in the mountains. It really surprised me how far he could go without getting tired.
Really?
So yeah, so I started huffing and puffing on that 6 mile because it was rocks going in and out.
Yeah.
I mean, he just zipping right through there. So I was on a run, and we left my family behind probably a good half mile.
Wow.
So
he's got some serious endurance.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He gets his mind on something, he stays with it. So they're very playful animals, and very smart.
Very smart.
Very smart, yes, sir.
You know, most people, you know, if they work for the government, you know, they'll make 8 to 5 in terms of, Monday through Friday, weekends off. But that's not necessarily the case for you or Copper, Canine Copper,
No,
is
sir.
it?
No, sir. So during the work week, you know, we'll do our regular times at school, which is Monday through Friday. And then if I'm needed, then I'll be called on the cell phone. So I'll respond to anything that is needed, you know, as far as dementia patients and small kids that are missing.
So you're on the job 24/7 pretty much.
Yes, sir.
Wow. If there was something you wanted to, a message to the public right now with Canine Copper, what would that be?
I would want to let the public know that we're here to help as a sheriff's office, that Sheriff Pounds has done a good job, you know, bridging that gap between law enforcement and the community. And that him just coming and getting copper like he did and having it donated and making him his own vehicle. Canine Copper's got him a Ford Explorer that's decked out and really nice and has his name all over it, so it's really cool. But I think the sheriff is showing the community that he is one with them, and if we're having a problem with anything, that he will do whatever he can do to fix that. And we've been having problems with the dementia patients getting away. And you really don't want to track them with a patrol dog, because the patrol dog, you know, at the end of the track is trained to apprehend the individual. So it's much safer and better for us to use a dog that's made for tracking and a dog that's going to let you pet him at the end.
You know, that is nice. Is speaking of that, is Canine Copper our only Bloodhound?
Yes, sir. Yep, so currently Canine Copper is our only Bloodhound. I don't know what the future holds. You know, we could make a Bloodhound unit in the future, but.
And that's something that, you know, could possibly grow with, with the assistance and help of people.
Yes, sir.
People helping as well from the community. So on that note, I want to thank you for your service, for your time and effort in being here. I know you have a really busy schedule, Deputy Aaron Smith, but it's an honor and a privilege to have you here.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for your service with the U.S. Army as well.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for your service
All right.
to This is Douglas County.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.